There's going to be more. There's going to be more lockdowns this winter, and we shouldn't trust Boris.
Yes, and no, I don't think we should trust any of them. I think it's very hard to tell if they have a strategy. The sensation that I have is that they're making policy up on the hoof as they go along. So far, all we've been able to rely on is that whatever they say they're not going to do is what they end up doing. So every time they say there's not going to be a lockdown, my automatic assumption at that point is that yes, there is. Everything is back to front. I sometimes watched that little clip there of Boris Johnson talking there with his British gas jacket on, and my suspicion is that he didn't want to give an answer because he wanted to do what he always seems to do, which is wait until the morning, see what the headlines are, see what the national opinion seems to be as far as the latest polls go, and then make policy off of the back of that. I think it's a completely hollow, two-dimensional way to run a country. There's no leadership there, and I don't trust a word that any of them say at the moment. That's basically the shorthand of my answer.
Well, the thing is, Neil Oliver, I don't understand why they don't just rule lockdowns out altogether. That's the thing that would give me a bit of faith. But this idea, we keep them in the back pocket, to me, this is gaslighting.
Well, I think the thing is that they suspect, and they're probably right. I think there's a lot of people out there in the country that do like lockdown, and would look forward to a further lockdown. My suspicion is that furlough will be extended also, which will make lockdown palatable in the way that it was before for those that end up being in receipt of that money. So that I don't think they're not going to rule anything out. Because they want to keep everything in their hand of cards, so that if the polls or the headlines or the commentators or the mass media, whatever it is they seem to be calling for, they're not going to rule anything out because they might have to bring whatever it is in. And I feel honestly, it feels to me, I've said it before, it's like being in an abusive relationship. I think they're mistreating us. They're treating us like our heads zip up the back. I don't think they have. They don't seem to have any sense that there are people out here who are paying attention, who are watching the patterns develop, who've been seeing the way that it has run for the last year and a half, and are able to make sensible predictions about what they're likely to do next. They don't seem even to have They don't seem even to be granting us and acknowledging that we have the intelligence to see what they've done before and that therefore they're likely to do that again. I think it's absolutely shameful. I think it's morally repugnant what's going on at the moment. I think we are being mistreated. We're in an abusive relationship with our leaders, and I think public morale is going to continue to be in a tailspin. I am absolutely appalled.
No, I think you put it absolutely perfectly. Of course, Neil, we got some slightly positive news in England regarding vaccine passports, although, again, the government say that they remain a possibility, but they're not going to be introduced this month. But in Scotland, Sturgeon's going for it. So Scotland is now officially a papers, please society. And I just feel what that does to the very fabric of our lives, to the poor people who are running these nightclubs or running these venues. It's just so wrong.
Yes, I think vaccine passports, or whatever you want to call them, I think they will ultimately fail. I think the people that seem to be saying in the polls or whatever that they're in favour of them, I don't believe that they're the sort of people that go to gigs, go to nightclubs. I don't think they're even particularly the sort of people that patronise the restaurants and the pubs. And I think those that do all of those things, if they're confronted with a situation where they have to produce their papers to get in, they might go along with it in the short term. There might be an element of novelty to it, to go and see how it goes. But I think as the weeks and months go on with that papers, please restriction on their lives, it will gradually just fall apart. I think it will be too onerous. It will be too intrusive. I think it will, the trade and the custom will fall away from the nightclubs and from the other gigs. As I understand it, those places operate on quite a slim profit margin. I think it's about 10%. And if their audiences, if their clientele falls because of the onerous complication of having to show their papers, I think the economy is just going to suffer. I think these places are hanging on by their fingertips, the pubs and the clubs and all the rest of it. And if that papers please diktat comes in, I think that will be the death knell. I think if it's sustained over the weeks and months, those places will just close and close for good. Nicola Sturgeon in Scotland she's always enjoyed having had the freedom to be to be out of step with Westminster, and I do wonder if she hasn't been slightly outmanoeuvred here. That she decided to go all guns blazing. Now Westminster seem to be, although I'm not entirely persuaded that Westminster won't go for vaccine passports, but they seem to be saying at the moment that they're not going to. And Nicola Sturgeon is out there on her own, and she's got to go for it. And I think Scotland is going to be a kind of a test case. I think the rest of the UK is going to be able to look on at what happens up here, and I predict that what happens up here is not going to be good for the hospitality industry. I think it's going to be a final nail in the coffin if she actually sustains it for any period of time.
I think you're right. Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.